Welcome to Unsightly Opinions. If you're new, my name's Tamara. Today I would like to talk about work from home opportunities, becoming your own boss, creating a business, and turning something that might be a skill or a hobby into something that can generate side income or another income stream for you. As somebody who's disabled, I know the struggles of trying to find a 9-to-5 job, trying to find consistent employment, and trying to work around a lot of discrimination and disability rights issues in the job space. I know that there can be a lot of factors that play into how your disability affects your daily life, and I want to try and talk about some creative solutions that might work for you in your own life to help generate some income either while you're looking for work, while you are still working to transition to something new, or something that might become your full-time gig. If you missed part 1 of this video, it'll be linked in a card above or down below. Last week I talked about special interview tips, how to narrow your career search, special accommodations, what's available, what's legal when you're interviewing, and a whole bunch of other little tidbits that I would have found useful at the beginning of my job search. But today I want to talk about the other options, work from home options, work for yourself options that might work better for some of us who have multiple disabilities or maybe can't get to a workspace. Before I get into today's video, I do want to spend a moment and say thank you very much. We just hit 500 subscribers. I cannot tell you how excited that makes me. I am truly, truly humbled by all of the support you've shown over the last few months. It really motivates me to want to make more content like this for you guys. And I do want to mention that I will be doing that 500th subscriber celebration where I do a Q&A, and that'll be coming out this Saturday. If you want to ask a question for that video, please leave it in the comments right now, because I will be filming that video on Thursday. So you only have Wednesday or Thursday morning to get those comments in before I'll be filming that video. But now I want to jump into the content of today's video. First, before I talk about specific opportunities for work from home and all of the other aspects of finding something that's going to work for you, I want to start with 5 really easy tips that I wish somebody would have given me. The first one is recognize your strengths and limitations. I want to put a caveat on that because I think a lot of people might see their disability as only a limitation, but a disability can create an opportunity as well. Because of your lived experience, because of your difference, it can open up a whole host of opportunities in terms of employment, like public speaking, motivational speaking, disability advocacy, or even working with other people with disabilities to help them accommodate their disability. What I want you to do is try and find ways that maximize what your skills are. Whether it's punctuality, customer service, whatever it is, find ways to maximize that in whatever you're doing and try and find ways to accommodate whatever limitations you have, whether it's from your disability, personal life, or something else. For example, if you have limited energy, maybe you want to plan your day so that you do the bulk of your work during the hours when you have the most energy. Or maybe you work every other day, or maybe you plan frequent breaks during the day so you don't become exhausted. If you have something like visual fatigue, maybe you have to do the same schedule. Maybe you can only work an hour on the computer and then you have to work some other way for the rest of the day, without your eyes, using a screen reader, doing something else. So find ways to accommodate any specific needs you have in order to maximize your potential and maximize your ability to work. My second piece of advice is don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you are trying to work for yourself, if you're trying to work from home, it can be really advantageous to try and foster multiple avenues in terms of what you're doing for employment. Employment when you're in a work from home setting can be really fickle, especially if you're on contract-based work. My experience has been that it can be feast and famine, so you really need to be careful and have fallback plans. If one contract falls through, you're not going to starve that month, and that can be really difficult to try and work around. And that leads into my third point. Be really fiscally responsible. Because you don't necessarily know when contracts are coming in, because you don't necessarily know how things are going to pan out, when things might change, try and keep some money put aside. Keep a nest egg for those rainy days. If you can, put away up to 1/3 of your income every month. I know that's not realistic for a lot of us, but do what you can to try and mitigate any stress that might arise if one contract falls through, if you get slow sales, if you can't work for a month because you have something come up with your disability. Create solutions for that before it ever becomes a problem. Tip number 4 is create a good work schedule. If you don't necessarily have somebody breathing down your neck or checking in on you every day, it can be really difficult to set yourself up for success. It can be difficult to self-motivate for work. So create goals for yourself, create a timeline, create consistency so you're going to be able to take active steps forward on whatever you're working on every single day, and then work towards bigger goals. My last tip is you're going to have to get creative and learn new skills. When you work for yourself, when you're doing jobs on your own, you're going to have to do a lot of tasks that you wouldn't necessarily do in an office space. From IT support to customer care to communications to social media and marketing to the actual construction to research and development, those are all now your job. Not to mention the fact that you're going to have to manage the finances, and if you can't afford an accountant, you're going to have to do all of that yourself too. So if you can afford it, get a good accountant, because there's going to be a whole host of deductions and changes that you wouldn't necessarily have if you're getting a slip from your employer with all of the deductions already taken off of that at the end of the year, and you will need that if you're going to be paying taxes on any of the income you earn. Now that we've gone through those tips, let's get into some specific ideas of work from home jobs. I've touched on some of these briefly in the previous video, but I want to reiterate them again. People who are blind or low vision can typically do transcription work without much difficulty. General transcription and data management may need some small amount of education, but it shouldn't be significant, and medical transcription requires a little bit more because you're going to be typing more complex words and you have to learn the language and understand the format, but again, very accessible. Most of that is work from home. You don't have to go into an office, and typically you can log your hours or work at your own pace. The next suggestion I have for work from home is going to be massage therapy. While you can work in a clinic setting, you can also set up a home practice and see clients right out of your house. You can manage your own schedule, you can be your own boss, and you can run your company however you see fit. There is education involved in that. There is a practicum period. Massage therapy can be a really great option because it's touch-based. Even though there is some charting, it doesn't require any usable vision to do successfully. The third option is going to be some form of customer care or customer service. Over the last year, a lot of customer care and customer service support centers have switched to online or remote customer care. That's a fantastic option for a lot of people who are blind or low vision because, again, you don't have to go anywhere. It might not pay super highly, but it is a form of employment. If you can't find something that fits your current skill set, go online and search for work from home jobs on any of the job search websites, and I'm sure you will find something. It might take a while to find a position, but you will find something. Next, I want to talk about contract work because I have been a contract worker for almost the entirety of my adult life. As a contractor, you get access to a lot more deductions, but you have to pay your own healthcare costs. You have to do a lot of extra work that you wouldn't necessarily do if you were an employee. That, and there's a lot fewer limitations on canceling contracts. So you aren't protected by a lot of the job laws that you would be if you were an employee. Now, I want to talk about starting a business. It can be extremely challenging to start a business at the best of times. Having a disability, it can add complexities that you don't necessarily think about at the beginning. If you are trying to sell a physical product or sell yourself, there is typically a large portion of social media or social media marketing that needs to go into promoting or letting people know that you exist. Just creating a website isn't going to be enough these days. Even if you have a great SEO, even if you're paying Google to get top positioning, it can take a long time to get traction in an online market that's already flooded. My suggestion is, especially if you have a visual impairment, if you're not going to be able to do these things for yourself, you will probably have to hire somebody, get help from somebody to do a lot of those visual aspects that are going to draw customers in. The other suggestion I would make is if you're trying to start a business is figure out what your unique angle is. Is your unique angle that you have a disability? Is your unique angle that you're eco-friendly? Is your unique angle that you're catering to young people? Is your unique angle that you've created a new mobility tool? You need to find out where the people that might be potential customers, where people that might potentially hire you are hanging out, and become an active member in that space. If you're trying to bring awareness to the blindness community, I would strongly suggest becoming a part of all of the blindness groups. Become a part of, in Canada, the CNIB. Go to meetings, speak to people, understand their experience, because there isn't just a single experience, and understanding who you're trying to cater to, understanding who you're trying to accommodate, understanding who are the people that you're trying to sell to will help you better manage what they might want to buy from you. And let me be clear, I am not saying that you should spam or market in support groups. I am not suggesting that you should be harassing people to buy things from you. That's not appropriate. What I am suggesting is that can be a valuable tool in terms of research, trying to figure out what is needed, what doesn't exist. While you can gain a lot of usable research from those types of groups, it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to market in those groups. When I am looking to start a business, or when I am looking to try and create a stream of income, I look at all of the different options I have in terms of skills, and I try and market those independently. When we were talking about the tips where you talk about fostering multiple avenues of income, not knowing which one's going to work for you, you definitely want to look at multiple income streams. While you can't necessarily start multiple businesses at the same time, unless you're particularly motivated, I would suggest trying to find multiple avenues that you can market. For example, in my personal life, I have run many companies with varying degrees of success. When one company is successful, I tend to scale back the others, and when one company is not as successful, I can work on the other ones more fully and bring income in through multiple avenues. I would like to share with you all of my income streams so it can give you some idea of possible avenues that you can explore yourself. I'm a professional seamstress who specializes in historical and fantasy costuming. I work for both television and movies, and I work for private customers. And all of that happens for me through word of mouth. I'm not actively seeking any kind of projects in that sphere because that's not something I'm currently working towards. But it is something that I could go into more if I needed to. I work as a massage therapist, so I see clients out of my house frequently. I work on them here. I'm able to manage their conditions, and if I need to refer them out, I can. I am a professional author and writer, so I do a combination of freelance writing and professional writing for my own projects that brings in income. So once you've released a book, once you've been accepted by a publisher, you get a check about 4 times a year or once a month, depending on how much you're making. I also work in the disability advocacy sphere. So I work with a number of different organizations and companies to help create a space that is accessible for people with disabilities. Whether that's an office space or a public space, I can help do that kind of work. I also work as a motivational and public speaker. So I speak to a variety of companies about disability rights issues. I can also speak to junior high schools and talk about accepting your uniqueness. I have a variety of skills that I can pull on in my everyday life that lead me to bring in multiple income streams depending on what's most lucrative at that time. I would like to say that anybody can start a business with $0, but I don't know that that's realistic. If you don't have the tools or you don't have the skills to do what you're interested in doing, you are going to have to invest in yourself or invest in the right tools to help you succeed in creating your own idea. Whether that's by buying equipment, buying mock-ups, working with a manufacturer, hiring an assistant, all of those things do require money and will make it easier. I'm not saying it's impossible without, but I'm saying it's something that you will probably need to look into if you start scaling up your business. Finally, I want to talk about turning something that might be a hobby or skill into something that's marketable or something that can generate income. Try and look at as many skills as you have. Do you have skills in accounting? Do you have skills in marketing? Do you have skills in construction? Do you have skills in sewing? Whatever it may be, create a big long list of all of your skills, even if it might be I speak French, because any of those could be turned into a business. If you speak French, you might want to do translation work. If you can read Braille, maybe you can be a Braille transcriptionist. There are many different avenues that you can explore that can generate income. Once you've figured out what those 1, 2, 3, or 7 things are that you want to explore as becoming a possible income stream, determine, do you have the skill set to do this at a professional level? If somebody looks at what you're offering, are they going to see that you are professional, and are they going to see that you have the skills to deliver what they are needing? Whether that's some form of personal service like consulting or physical good like a dress. When you have that figured out, try and create a mock-up. Try and create that first thing that you want to sell. Are you selling a course? Are you selling public speaking? Are you selling a specific item like a dress or a purse? And create one of those things and trial it with some people around you, preferably people that you don't know. And when you're working with those people that you don't know, ask them for constructive feedback. Don't get hurt if somebody comes back and picks it apart. That's good for you. If somebody tells you it was terrible, take it on board, because that's probably the most valuable information you're going to get about what is really going on that you might not be aware of, being somebody that is working too close to the situation to accurately judge where you are at in terms of quality or professionalism. Working in business takes practice, so it will not start overnight. If you're trying to create something from the ground up, it takes a long time. So if you are employed, don't quit your day job. Do try and continue working on that and work on your new income stream in your downtime as a hobby. It can take a long time for things to pick up to the point that you might be able to rely on it full time as a stream of income. Or it might never happen, so you don't want to cut off possible avenues to success. I know a lot of the advice isn't very specific because I wanted to make it broad enough that anyone coming to this video could find something that they can take away and turn into income. If you have specific questions about your particular circumstance, or you're looking to develop a specific skill, or you have a specific question, by all means leave that in the comments down below. I will happily get back to you as best as I can. We can all help each other grow our businesses and find success in employment, even if it's working for ourselves. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like content like this, please don't forget to subscribe, hit those bells and buttons. I love hearing from you, whatever you have to say. If you want to keep up to date with what's going on in between uploads, I have an accessible Twitch stream Tuesday nights and Sundays, 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. You can come hang out with us there, and I have my other social media accounts linked in the description down below. But that's all for today. Bye for now.